How's it going? Hey. Hey, Karen. Hey, you. Out there in the cold, getting lonely, getting old. Can you feel me? Hey, you. Standing in the aisle with itchy feet and faded smile. Can you feel me? Hey, you. Don't help them to bury the light. Don't give in without a fight. Hey, you, out there on your own, sitting naked by the phone. Can you touch me? Hey, you, with your ear against the wall, waiting for someone to call out. Can you touch me? Hey, call a red pill. Hey, you, would you help me to carry the stone? Open your heart, I'm coming home. It's good to see everyone. Just hanging out. If anyone wants to call in, talk about anything. It was only fantasy. The wall was so high as you can see. No matter how he tried, he could not break free. And the worms ate into his brain. That's kind of creepy, isn't it? The worms eating into his brain. Tommy, tell the truth. It's always great to see you, my friend. Hey, you. Out there in the road, always doing what you're told. Can you help me? Yeah, can you help me? Hey, you. Out there beyond the wall, breaking bottles in the hall. Can you help me? Hey, you. Don't tell me there's no hope at all. Together we stand, divided we fall, we fall, we fall. Yo, need to connect. How's it going? Good to see you, my friend. great talking to you yesterday. Hope you had an awesome day yesterday. I'm staying corona free here, virus free. Little Levin, how's it going? That was pretty interesting over on Freedom Growers channel. Did you see him on D Live where he had Max Vision, and he was doing the remote viewing stuff where you can sense what you close your eyes and you sense what he's got in the envelope, and it's amazing how accurate some of the people's vision is, what they see. You know, they'll be like, "Oh, I see circles in the center with it," and then he'll open up the picture, and it's like a whole bunch of circles, and it's pretty wild. Yeah, he has those shows every day, every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. If you check out Max Vision on D Live. We live in concave Earth. What? Christian concavers promoting flat Earth. Who's promoting flat Earth? I don't know anyone promoting flat Earth. Really? That's Christian concavers. I'd love to see what that looks like. I can't imagine anything curving, really. And the people that are promoting flat Earth, anyone that's out there promoting, like actively, like, oh, this is, I'm Mr. Flat Earth, you can guarantee that person's not Mr. Flat Earth. That person's Mr. like, I'm going to try to gain attention from this whole thing and possibly, I don't know. So I don't really know anyone promoting flat Earth. I have friends that are flat earthers, and they talk about it, but I don't know of anyone other than like the guy with the rocket. What was that guy's name? Guy had a rocket, and he went up, and I mean, if you think about that guy as possibly, maybe working on the inside to make flat earther people look really bad, that could be the case too, because there's a lot of that going on where it's like, yeah, anyone that's out there making no sense is someone that's gonna get I don't know. I, if 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 you're expecting to go up a couple thousand feet and get a glimpse of the Earth that you haven't gotten before or no one's gotten before, then you're pretty disillusioned. And to go through all the extent and then to slap a flat Earth logo on the side of the rocket just doesn't make any sense. Like, even if he went 5,000 feet in the air and risked his life to do something, like, we should have all just, I'm kicking myself now because we should have all just kicked in for a plane trip for this dude, and just maybe done it up right. Like, not only will we take him to 5,000 feet, but we'll do it at like supersonic speeds, and then we'll like spin him around, and we'll do loops and everything like that. Maybe even take him up higher, and then like, do all kinds of stuff. What would that have costed us to just like, get that view, and then, But I don't think anyone was really going to talk any sense into that dude. He had his mission to make himself look moronic, and I guess he did. Mad Mike flew his rocket couple thousand feet high. He said he wanted to prove he could fly. And that's the other thing. He came out and he's like, oh, I'm not a flat earther, but I'll take your money and put flat earth on the side of my rocket. So that seems very weird. Forced into my mind this made-up globe. Now I'm set my mind free. I let it go. If this life should last forever, at least we are together. I know I'm not alone. We know it's not a globe. Anywhere, whenever, apart but still together. No, I'm not alone. We know it's not a globe. It's not a globe. It's not a globe. I'm not alone. We know it's not a globe. It's not a globe. I'm not alone, not alone. We know it's not a globe, it's not a globe. Spinning ball Earth, I now know that you're fake. Deceived since birth, I'm no longer being played. If this life should last forever, at least we are together. I know I'm not alone. We know it's not a globe. Anywhere, whenever, apart but still together. No, I'm not alone. We know it's not a globe. It's not a globe. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. We know it's not a globe. It's not alone. Not alone. I'm not alone. We know it's not a globe, it's not a globe. Let the globe go, yo, yo. Let the globe go, yo, 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 yo. Let the globe go, let the globe go. Let the globe go. We know it's not a globe. I hope Carla Red Pill is feeling great, 'cause she deserves it, you know? I hope her back feels like it's getting well, and she can go on those trips. She's got like all kinds of fun stuff in her future. Makes me kind of jealous, out there riding a motorcycle like that. Father God and center of the earth. Don't you think God is everywhere? Not just the center. It's like a Tootsie Pop. God's just in the center, and it's just a matter of how many licks it takes to get to God. Christian concavers. It'd be hard to imagine a lot of things in a concave situation. There's a picture on my screen which is a pretty flat Earth. There's something around it. Is that curved water? No. That's not what people mean. I love when people take the argument to that, to all kinds of different levels. Of course, water curves. Look at a water droplet. That's curved, right? But it's like we're not talking about water droplets. We're talking about large bodies of water that are make up 70% of the area that we're in. And that's what we're talking about. Like, I don't know, Tommy. Do you think anything's going to hit the fan? You know, they always talk about all these things in the news. Oh my gosh, if you go over to the news and you watch that for like 10 minutes, you will regret it. It's just it's crazy what the average person in the world today is taken into their head. Thank you, Christian concavers. The trap that we've all managed to fall in, or many of us, is flat Earth. Is that what you're saying? That we've all just independently done our research and come to a conclusion that is a big trap? But I don't think so. I don't think so. We do like trap music, but that's what Need to Connect says. But when a bunch of people like spend a lot of time on a topic and reach a conclusion, that's kind of consensus, you know, amongst a group. That's not really like everyone just falling into a trap, you know. It's a lot of time that people have spent trying to actually prove the the very things they learned when they were kids, you know. The you get 18 years in the school system with that ball Earth sitting there on the teacher's desk the whole time, and you take all the classes and you see all of the stuff. My high school had a planetarium in it, which is pretty amazing. They had a choice between a pool and a planetarium, and they chose planetarium. And you know, we used to be able to go into shows and, you know, see all of the stories about the ball that we're on. And yeah, you know, they even rolled into our school when I was in high school. They rolled in the cameras or the TVs when they were going to launch that teacher into space on the shuttle. We even saw all that. You know, they brought it in, and they made sure that we were witness to all of the stuff. And it takes a lot of hours of looking into things to come to a different conclusion than the first 18 years of your life, when, you know, because that's basically what you're doing is you're trying to undo all of that, or just prove what has been prove just what's in the curriculum. And that's all I did. That's all I did, is I took all the stuff that I knew and believed, and I said, one by one, I'm going to prove these things to myself. And it wasn't until 9/11 that I really started looking into these things. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. I don't know how I should do some more like wrenches. Did I not give people wrenches? Um, but anyway. Oh man. You know, there's so little time that people have on this realm that we're in, right? And to see people spending time to troll actively, like troll someone else that's just like having a conversation, it just seems very strange. Yeah. Thank you, Brian. Well, we're on two things. We're on the YouTube. We're also streaming on D Live. So, all right. Thanks, Brian. You know, it's amazing how much disinformation there is about people that look into the world and ask questions. Yeah, system, call in if you want. I know you've been having issues with the system. They've been what, blocking you? Yeah, dude. Brian, anytime. I would love that. I love that My Awakening series that you've done, Stavely. And you're up into the 50s now, which is amazing. I'm episode 28, and that was so much fun. But more importantly, is like all of these stories are becoming a almost like a catalog of uh, testimony, which is really great for people because you can see similarities in your journey and you can see. Uh, oh, you need me to turn it up? Freedom Rock. Yeah, I might be low here on the volume. I can turn it up. Freedom Rock. Is that better? Is that better? Freedom Rock. Takes a little while. Is that better, Stavely? Awesome. So anyway, it's unbelievable when you see people putting in production hours into producing like a hit piece. It's just like what's the point, dude? The only thing I can think of is that you're getting paid because that there's no reason anyone would want to spend their time just to rip someone down for some reason. Or you have you have people that are psychologically trying to start fights with people because they think that attention will get them more followers. There's that too. And you see that not just on social media, but just in general, where, you know, people, oh, those are the popular people over there, so I'm going to go over and I'm going to like start a fight with those people and bring, attention to myself. Yeah, system failure. If you want to call in, man, I enjoyed your talk the other day with Floyd Bingo, and I thought it was. I told my wife this. I thought this was really funny as Floyd was talking about being in the psych ward of the hospital, for having crazy thoughts. And they used this video that he did where he painted it his face and sang "Mad World," and he's like, I don't understand, why they don't understand performance art. And it's like, it's true. You could have Lady Gaga throw a whole meat suit on her and then stand out there and roll around in a bunch of like black goo and stab people, and no one's bringing her to the psych ward, right? But any other person other than someone deemed to be famous, and all of a sudden it's a trip to the psych ward. Well, he's in there and he sees the cops bringing in people after him, and he hears what they're saying, and he's like, that guy's totally normal. Like all the people they were bringing in, Floyd was like, oh, that guy, I can totally see what that guy's saying. And it makes sense. Like, that someone that's in, it's this, the classic paradox of the sane person looks totally insane to the rest of the world, right? Hey, Stacy B, how's it going? It it's amazing. It's amazing how crazy we can appear to other people. It's like he actually believes this, and you tell someone like, oh, here we go. Welcome to the jam room. Who's this?
Hey, it's Ceiling Fan Man. I was
Hey,
thrilled to see you live.
Ceiling
I
Fan
haven't seen
Man.
your show live.
Yeah. You know what? It's kind
Well,
of a mix of all kinds of things. It's music, and then I do like extended conversations with people about whatever topic, because there's just so much interesting stuff going on in a group of people like ours, like free thinkers, and we've got our own issues, but it's really cool to hear people just the way they're dealing with their life, and pitfalls and roadblocks and positive things, and I love hearing about it all. It's such a group and a family that I always knew in the back of my mind that there was something out there like that for me, but I never really knew where they were or how I'd get in touch with these people. I felt some kind of kinship when I went to like a music festival, and I got to interface with a bunch of people that seemed to share some commonality with myself, and that was cool. But it wasn't all just about music festivals. It was like deeper topics and stuff like that. So I'm just so glad that people like yourself and all walks of life are coming together and talking about the things that they're witnessing, and there are beacons in this community that are helping to spur on other people like yourself to make your channel and focus on the things that interest you. And what would you say that is for you, like the most interesting area of discussion for you? What would that be?
huh? Oh, it's just ever changing. That's the thing.
Is it?
See, I agree with you that this whole community truly is sent by God because we're finding each other. Um, if nothing else, just to say to each other, "Hey, you're not crazy. You saw that plane disappear. Hey, you're not nuts. There's forest people.
Yeah.
Giants live, and history is wrong, and the numbers are all wrong. The government lies. I mean, it's like every time you say that in the quote normal world, you're the outcast. You're the crazy one. You're I call us the misfits. You know, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm hearing a lot of similar stories. Excuse me. I don't have the coronavirus. Um, I've been hearing a lot of similar stories, and my wife too, and stuff that like it's not that we weren't the popular kid in school. We had friends and stuff, and we had activities we did, whatever. But we never really clicked off. We weren't the jocks. We weren't the whatever. We just kind of did our own thing, and made it through, and kind of just made only a few friendships, but like great ones instead of like Facebook. You can have 500 friends and only know about 6 of them in real life,
Yeah.
we were never those kind of people. And so I'm finding that a lot of people seem to be like this, and I'm finding a lot of people are left-handed, and I'm finding a lot of people had time off for whatever reason, or worked at home or something, that they had more time to look into things once they started seeing things were wrong. And I think a lot of those things kind of brought everyone together. And what's amazing to me and so just wonderful is, I'm in my 50s, and I was able to explain all this to my parents who are in their 70s, and they're still having trouble with it, but they're on board. They
Yeah.
get it now. And to see that was just amazing. And then even more is, I'm not sure how old you are. I know Steve Jamo is about the age of most of my kids, 26 and so forth. But to see someone like that, or someone your age and stuff, that are getting it, that's our hope. That is our future, is that once we all die off, whoever, the Waken are, we've got to pass this on to our kids,
Yeah.
because otherwise, they win. And that's why I thought it was really, really wanted to stress that I understand people are feeling like, oh God, I don't want to bring a kid into this world. But see, that's just, again, it's they work off of our fear. They eat it. They live off of it. And saying that and feeling that way, that helps, and I don't believe in the coronavirus. However, I believe in the reality of the way people react to the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And, the news decided to tell everyone toilet paper was scarce, and everyone fled and got toilet paper. Whatever they choose is scarce. That's what the thing of the day is.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I don't watch news, but I was told that the coronavirus was barely even talked about last night, because it was all about the elections or whatever. So, isn't that interesting? It's potentially the worst pandemic seen since the Black Plague. But we'll be back as soon as we cover the election, and then we'll discuss more about how you're going to die. It's like, what?
Yeah.
People just don't see that they're just completely being played.
Yeah,
So
totally.
the fact that we can all get together and discuss things and reassure each other that, A, you're not crazy, and if you do find your faith in God, you're safe. You'll be okay. Because the more I read into this, and it's so frustrating because things keep changing. Like I have to tell that Brian's probably in here. He's got one ball in Centerville and one ball in Centralville. But in any case, once you find out, you make that connection, you'll be okay. Because what I believe now is, I went through so many things. Because again, I didn't read the Bible until last year, and I read all the way through. And then as I start going back through it, I'm seeing like tons of Mandela changes that really irritate me. But the main thing I noticed is someone was talking, I watched so many different shows, that if everything in life has been lied to us, they lied to us about everything, okay? So then they wrote the King James book for this king, and they didn't change anything? Yeah, bullshit. So I think the reason that we're seeing these crazy changes now with couches and bottles and homosexuality and Jesus being hung on a tree, that could, I don't know where it comes from, but I could think it could come from God at this point, because everyone that studied the scripture for so long didn't even realize it was already corrupted before they were born or before their parents were born. And so things potentially have been changed that we don't even know.
Yeah.
So it could just be a theory that God's messing with the Bible to say, hey, just remember that this has been messed with too. The basics are there, because even says in it, he who wants to hear will hear it. He wants to see will see it. So you can read a Bible that has been jumbled around and screwed with, but still find God through it.
Yeah.
So the devil's allowed to do so much to screw with us, but at the end of the day, God's ball game. So he can, blow the whistle and say, no, that's a penalty. We're going to change this or something. So I don't know what any of this means. I just know that everyone getting together, talking about it, that's how we figure things out. I shoot videos and I post them, and then whoever, Crow or Black Sheep, they look into it and they say, well, this matches the thing that I'm dealing with, or I talk to you and I hear something from you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So that's how we're going to do it. As far as the biggest thing, I don't know, honestly. I think the thing that I'm most concerned about, because see, I can't say that I don't get afraid or anything anymore. That's just, it's been beaten into us since we were a child. So I do my best to squash that and get rid of it. But the thing I think I'm most concerned about is the way that they're able to manipulate the masses. And I don't know what's a real video or not. I'm watching a guy this morning that he's a guy that went to the center of China and
Right.
shot video, and most of it I believe, but it was really kind of concerning because you have to like everywhere you go they have checkpoints like Nazi Germany, and they scan your forehead and they either allow you into your own building or not. I
That's
mean, that's
crazy.
why
Yeah.
I fear for the people at the cities. You
Yeah.
know, you have to get a pass, and you get on a train, and then they check you on and off the train, and then you get to the building, and they check your head, and then you go inside, and you grab a toothpick, and you push a button because they don't touch the buttons for the elevators. And so I don't know if that's even more fear porn or not. You know, who knows what's real anymore? But the panic that it's creating in people, that's the thing. And it could very well, the stuff that's going on, if it is going on in China, it'll be in our town one day. I mean, crap, Washington State freaking lost their mind because like two people supposedly died. Two nameless, faceless people because of HEPA violations. You'll never know who they are. Probably had compromised immune systems. Were coughing, and they said, "Oh, that was probably coronavirus." I mean, who knows? You know, I told you
Oh,
my wife
dude,
is
I,
a
I
nurse.
I wouldn't
I'm
be surprised if they just took a dead person and then like, put some corona or did nothing and just said, "Oh, we've traced it back to the coronavirus." Like this person, or the person didn't even pass away. It was not even a person at all, and it's just a fake statistic. You know,
yeah, yeah. There was a
honestly,
crazy one Russian vids did with something in Australia, where because they're all obsessed with this number 33, and when you do the math, it's right behind her on the screen. It adds up to 32. So it's like
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
none
They
of these
they
numbers.
wanted
I
to
mean,
get
they don't
that.
even know how many people died in Puerto Rico, right? Do we
Yeah,
even know that number? So our government lies about numbers all the freaking time.
yeah. It's honestly, dude, uh, I don't know what to believe in the whole thing, but you're right. The panic that is created, but also they do this in my town, dude, all the time, and the people in my town joke that anytime they get a storm advisory, everyone goes out and hits the store and rips everything off the shelves. The batteries and the eggs and the butter and the milk and all of the products end up going out the store because of a storm advisory. So you have to wonder, if what they're doing is for economic purposes too. Like maybe you get a pop in the economy when everyone goes on out and buys $300 worth of storage supplies. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, there was this one guy, and I forget everyone's names. I think it was his name Peekaboo. I'll look for his channel. But I watched because I think he's Australia or some other country, and one of the things I think was his theory was all you have to do is in the morning not have any stock of say toilet paper on the shelves, and everyone shows up and it's a big empty shelf, and you say, "Oh, we've got more. Will be in tomorrow."
Yeah.
How much fucking toilet paper do you think you'll sell the next day? You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
know.
mean? You create a panic. You create a demand. I had to get meats and stuff from Costco, and I went Monday. It was a zoo in there. It was worse than Christmas. And I was like, oh my god! It was just because people said two people died in Washington. Like,
Yeah.
come on! Nobody knows how many people died in Washington of the regular flu. I looked it up in 2018. 21 people died of lightning strikes.
Yeah.
So should we all wait inside? I mean, come on! It's like two people have died and everyone's losing their minds. It's ridiculous. I never seen anything like it. So here, all of my friends and stuff, I'm saying, hey, this thing's not real. Now I'm feeling like shit. I better not say that because the panic is real.
Yeah. So you're
And
a similar age as me. You remember Ebola, right? And
oh yeah,
and
and
Ebola
Zika and all that.
Ebola had a massive buildup with Hollywood movies and books that came out, like The Hot Zone and Outbreak and big blockbusters that were all about this Ebola, and it kind of the actual scare, I think, followed the literature and the movies. So it was perfectly primed for everyone to just start freaking out because they'd seen in the movies that if you catch Ebola, your body just basically turns to mush, right? And you bleed out of every orifice, and they show all these pictures, and the scare and the fear and everything. But the thing that 9/11 did is it got me to wake up to the fact that there are this class of people that are really aimed at freaking us out about everything, right?
Everything.
Whether it's a terrorism or whether it's biological agents or the the global warming. There are people, and it's amazing because there got to be people at the top that know exactly what they're doing, like it's a part of an agenda. But then you get down into the weeds, and there are people that don't even know what they're doing, but they're just rallying for a cause of some sort, And
Yeah, and see, I agree. I think there are things in the world that can kill you. Okay, good. We granted we know that, but the thing is I've I'm figuring out all of it is based on fear because that's what they live on. That's what they feed on. So
yeah,
sometimes I feel like a rat in a maze, and we're all heading towards the exit, and then they put something down to scare us away, maybe a loud noise, and we all run the other way.
yeah,
But if we just kept going forward, we'd make it out. And it's all about just keeping us entrapped in whatever this matrix, whatever you want to call it, is.
yeah,
Maybe America and the continents around us, that's the prison. And outside the Antarctica zone, that's where the rest of the world is. And they took and crammed us all in this one little area way before our ancestors were born, and said this is where we're just going to keep them all controlled. I don't know.
yeah,
My new theory is I used to read about when I read through the Bible, I thought, okay, we're all going to, whoever can goes to heaven. God comes down and he just wipes the earth out and starts all over. And then the more I'm thinking about it, so, okay, the first time that he cleansed the earth, he didn't destroy the earth. So then I started thinking about it. Why would he destroy the earth this time? So the first thing they say is God created the heavens and the earth. Well, it's a creation. God loves his creations.
yeah.
I don't believe he would destroy it. I freaked out one of the first times I started watching this, what's his name? Feed Your Mind, I think. Coolest voice ever. This is Feed Your Mind here. That guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you haven't watched him, he's awesome. But he goes over all these things, and when you start looking at it, like if you take a what is that, topograph map from the sky of like lakes and streams, it looks like things you'd see in an X-ray of a body, like brachial tubes in the lungs and veins and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this system is a living being.
Yeah.
We just live on it, but it's a being just like we are. I mean, everything in it is alive. It completely recycles itself.
Yeah.
Everything that's polluted goes through the soil and the water and gets filtered out and comes back out as new material and cleansed.
Yeah.
And so using that theory, what if he's just going to cleanse it? So how do you vacuum your room? You pick up all the chairs and furniture and toys and stuff off the floor, and you set it up high, like God would pick up all his chosen people, pick them up into heaven. Then you get out your brooms and your mops and whatever, and you just clean the house, and you wipe all that crap, and you flush it, and you shove it down the drain, which is where shoal, I forget how you say it.
Yeah.
That's where he says the devil and all that bad shit's going to go. And now your house is clean, and then you put your furniture and your stuff back down, and then you live a nice life. To me, in my mind right now, that's what I'm thinking. I don't believe that we're going to disappear and then this whole thing gets wiped and he makes a whole new one. Why bother? The thing works. It's just the things and the people and whatever in it that are messing it up. So clean it up and put everyone back.
And
that's my
the
idea
generations,
heaven or new earth.
The generations of faulty thinking that, like, honestly, I feel like we're living in a 400-year-old trick or 500-year-old trick that was played upon us, and they just kept rolling with it, and it became a secret society of some sort, where it's like you either you're in on the magic or you're not, and at some point 500 years ago, it turned into you're either in on it or you're not, and we've gone down through generations of fables that have been passed from parents to kids, And all the stories basically that make up our history are complete fabrications that just got pushed upon us. That's what I feel.
Oh
uh
yeah,
you know
I've seen where they've proven, at least to me, that they've taken like a letter or something and turned it into a one, and so now like all of our history is at least 1,000 years off.
yeah
But even those numbers, who knows?
yeah
It's pretty.
well, listen to
It's really
this.
hard. It's like
Listen to
trying to
this.
figure out how to. Huh?
Ceiling fan, I've got
Go ahead.
a niece that is in the Peace Corps, and they sent her to Senegal, and they've been talking about toilet paper in the chat, but they sent her to a place that she said that the hardest thing to get used to is the lack of toilet paper. So the Peace Corps sent her to a place where they all use their hands to wipe, right? And
Yeah.
they, you know, it's like, if there's one thing you should get accomplished as the Peace Corps, is some kind of distribution mechanism within this country. How long has this been going on that everyone wipes with their hands? Because like, if we've been going down there year after year as part of the Peace Corps doing missions in Senegal, and we have yet to get toilet paper down there, then it's a complete failed mission. Or the mission was not to do anything at all. It's completely, and that's what I'm leaning towards. It must not be the mission to kind of bring change about with these, because an easy one would be to get toilet paper going, right? And
Yeah.
and it's just incredible because it could be that the whole mission is to just go on down there and just to be there and be eyes on the ground and keep wiping our butts with our hands. But I I it's just hard for me to fathom that in 2020 we have places like that, but then we consider them places that we've been working on, and we don't even have the basic elements in place after decades of being there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with a lot of those things, you start to wonder what they even do. A lot of the charities that I've found don't even money doesn't even get to the people. I
Yeah.
mean, what's his name? That demon. That my wife's favorite band. It was one of the crushing things. You too.
Yeah.
Bono,
What
Boner,
what
whatever
about
the hell.
him?
90, I think it was 98 cents of every dollar you donated to his charity went in his pocket.
Yeah.
You can look it up. It's crazy.
There's
But
no
yeah,
doubt
no,
in my mind that guy is connected at a very I don't know how to say it, like Luciferian level to the whole system. You know, it's
oh,
there've been people on Stavely's show, talking about the music business and the kinds of things that take place there, and I'm pretty convinced that the music business is like a Luciferian entity that just
oh yeah.
is putting out stuff.
And it's interesting that you were on this morning because I go through, I get all my music and find it 432, but I'm still playing all of that, those people and whatever. It's hard not to listen to music you grew up with, but like I just did a quick little video of some stuff I shot in um, near Catalina Anacapa Island. And at the time, I was shooting the sunset and stuff. I really didn't even know that I was kind of proving, I think, a little flat Earth. Anyways, I grabbed, if you don't mind, I was going to put one of your songs that We Don't Live on a Ball. It's a great song. So I think that's where the future of music will go, because whatever ends up shaking out, all these horrible people will be gone. And it'll just be people like you and flat Earth music and the music, what's the Musicians for Truth, and those people that
Yeah,
peroxide, dioxide, that guy,
yeah,
that's where it's going to come from. It's not going to be some guy making $20 billion
yeah.
touring the world and all that. No, it's going to be your local guys, or you'll have a decent following and make a decent amount of money maybe doing it, or something else. It's like my whole life I've never gone, oh, I got to get as much money as many toys. I just want enough money to be comfortable. And I think that's what most people do. And if we all figured that out, oh my God, I mean, there's plenty, more than plenty in this world to take care of everyone.
Yeah.
But like you say, the elite club, they put it all on lockdown and they just hand it out to you and dole it out. And they make you work all day and so many hours that you can't take time to sit down and realize that you're being lied to.
Yeah.
That's part of the game. We keep us occupied.
I do have a lot of I do have a lot of positive thinking for the younger folks, because I do believe that the stories that we were fed, that we bit hard on with the government and the two-party system and the American dream, you know, all of that has kind of been destroyed. And there are still people trying to live that, right? They're still trying to live that picture of the dream that was put in their head by their parents and stuff like that. But you see a lot of people that have failed to bite on any of the stuff that we bit on it as kids, you know? And it's like they can see through it at an earlier age. It's like, oh, I can
That's
do
good.
I can do all that in Final Cut or iMovie. Like, I don't need any kind of like, and that looks totally fake. Well, back in the day, our parents were looking at footage that showed people walking on the moon, and they just saw it as nothing but truth because it was on the TV and it looked like it had some kind of production value for the time, you know? Like, oh, look, there seems to be rocket telemetry on the screen and all of that kind of stuff. And now that we look at it, it's laughable, right? And, you know,
Yeah,
I
well,
think,
we were so naive. Why would you think anyone would lie to you? You know, we trusted everyone. The way we were set up originally, and then they turned the screws and started lying to us, and just completely. I don't know. It is encouraging to hear that there are younger generation growing up that aren't buying into it, because I mean that's the only way that we're going to win.
Yeah.
You know, if we just give up and shut down and say, well, let's just wait for Jesus to come back because this world is screwed and I can't wait for it to be destroyed, that's not helping. See, that helps them win, because now you've put fear into yourself. Even if you're saying, I'm waiting for God, you still are afraid that this world is lost and you want it over.
Yeah.
Instead, let's take it back, because maybe we don't leave here. Maybe we stay here. So let's make it the best we can and try to, you know, beat away the demons or the fire, as you would, instead of just letting it burn the house down. I mean, if there was a fire coming towards your house, you wouldn't just say, well, screw it and walk away.
Yeah.
You'd at least try. You'd put water on it. You put a hose on it. You cut, you know, whatever, a ditch. You'd figure something out to try.
Yeah.
We can't just let the house burn down. We've got to fight for it, or they do win. Without even trying, they win.
Yeah.
Because then we police ourselves and we stop having babies, or we feed into the fear and we hoard things, and because, you know, I want mine and it's going to be survival of the fittest. And no, we've got to stay in the teachings of Christ. We got to love everyone, even your enemy. If your enemy shows up at your door and he's hungry, and you feed him.
Yeah.
You might not have to like invite him in and, you know, have him sit down at the dinner table, but you'll still feed him and clothe him whatever he needs. That's the only way this works.
Yeah.
Because my enemy is not in another country. My enemy, there's one, and we've all been fighting him our whole lives and didn't realize it. But you can say him, them, they. You can name all different whoever's in charge. At the end of the day, they all answer to one entity, and it's the opposite of the one that I pray to.
Yeah.
So if we can all get together, there's so many more of us. We got to beat this son of a bitch back until God comes and smashes him. That's what I'm waiting for.
You know,
so
I
rise
do.
up, everyone.
Yeah, I do have a lot of love for guys like Joey and people that are on the front lines. You know, facing people head on with the flat Earth, and I love that, and it's not a skill that I have, but I do love people that are that ballsy, and I love being around those people. But I do also think that it's necessary for us to show a picture of what life looks like, outside of the matrix that they've built. And I do believe that without even presenting that to anyone in any kind of way, that it will slowly get people to say, I don't know what it is that they are doing over there, or how they've managed to etch out a different kind of lifestyle, but I want to be with them, like just showing them what breaking free of all the lies looks like in a wholesome way can be attractive to other people to say, you know what, fuck this job, fuck the corporate world, fuck the man. I'm gonna do something different, and I'm gonna let the universe provide, and I'm gonna join these folks over here because they have what I'm looking for in life. A free mind, a wholesome way of living and thinking about the cosmology that we're in. They don't believe that we're a bunch of myths that their parents stuffed into their heads. They've managed to, and that it's going to attract people to our message. And that's like that troll that was in my room earlier. It was like they were saying that anyone that's out there as a massive proponent of flat earth and all of this kind of stuff, but we could actually just show people a picture of a outside the matrix way of living, and it doesn't all have to be like in a commune or together. I do believe that there's strength in us being completely distributed. We're on all the continents, we're all streaming on different services, and that diversity is what makes it so that there's no attack, like there's no head to the thing that we're doing. It's not like it can be brought down.
100%. My wife has said since day one, the thing that's really bothered her is everyone talks about Israel, like that's where God's people have to go, or that's where God's people are. She's like, nowhere that she's seen, and I haven't either in the Bible, specifically named Israel is where God's people are.
Right.
A lot of times Israel is a person, or waters are people, or there's a lot of metaphorically talked about. So God's people, whoever we are, we're all over the place. Because when the Tower of Babel happened, we got scattered. We're all over the world.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that we all have to go to one place. The one place we all have to go to, it's within ourselves and find God. Once you're there, we're actually all connected now.
Yeah.
One of the again, I'm trying not to fear anything anymore now that I have him. But, one of the concerns, I guess is the word I should use, is, one day this internet's gone and I lose all you guys. Then who do I talk to? My wife and the dogs, So, that's kind of a concern. So we need to, however we need to do, grow this community either through other means than YouTube, Facebook could go down, email, however we can. And then also in your own place, in your own community, do you know your neighbors at all? Have you talked to them? If something goes down, can you work with them?
Yeah.
We're starting a farm here, so I'll have hopefully soon eggs, and we're growing vegetables, and I can use that to trade with them for things they might have. Or if they don't have anything, just give it to them, because that's the way this all works.
Yeah.
The difference, the opposite of fear is love. And all they want is fear. All he wants is fear. He controls this world that we live in, and he does it through fear. How do we take it back? Love. And I'm not trying to sound all hippy-dippy. Hey, peace, man, love your neighbor. I mean, I get that. It's more than that. It's a true feeling that you feel that I don't hate you, and if you were hurt, I'd help you. And if I saw you hungry, I'd feed you. That's what this is about. That's what love is about.
Yeah.
And they hate that. And the more that we can do that, the stronger we become. And eventually, as it says, they will all head for the hills and hide in the mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
Because we get stronger and there's way more of us. So everyone needs to just, whatever it is, in your own small way, fight back. Start sharing these videos with people. people that you think that, if you share it, they might think you're crazy. Who cares? I
Yeah.
started sending out flat Earth videos and stuff to, quote, friends that I knew over the years that I don't see. They never call me. I haven't talked to them. It's not that I don't have a problem. I don't have any problems with them, but there's only a core few people that I see or talk to like every week. Now, there's a few good friends that maybe I only see or talk to once a month or once a year, and it seems like we've never left. That's
Yeah.
fine. But I'm talking about the acquaintances, and just start sending them things. Oh, but they're going to think I'm crazy. Who cares?
Yeah.
Now, I understand if you've got a job and you've got to provide for your family and you've got to live in the system. Okay, you got to peel it back. That's why I do my videos and I call on this thing. I don't really go and promote my face and name and stuff yet because I've got a lot of kids and stuff and they have lives and I don't want to complicate their lives. They
Yeah.
all come here and listen to my crazy talk. Some of them believe in some of it, some of them believe in none of it, but they still love me at the end of the day. So that's the only reason I don't do that.
Yeah.
And all the heroes like you and Brian and Joey and Karen and so many more that show their faces and stuff, and Jen, of course, that's wonderful. We all have our own different parts to play, and we're all in it together to win it.
I love
So.
your approach, dude. The fact that you went in through the ceiling fan and you saw that there was something that we were completely overlooking, and that is that every single satellite up there looks like a ceiling fan, which is amazing. Oh my gosh,
That was
dude!
wild.
Even down to the little pull string, the little
That was the
the
best.
pull chain.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
That's my what do you call it? What do you call it? What's that called? A little picture.
That's your
Is
niche,
that one? Is
dude.
the Mariner 9 going over Mars with fucking chain? Thanks, Brian. He pointed that out.
Let me ask you this, like, all in all, how much stuff do you think is up there? Because they talk about space junk as being like, we're blanketed by this massive amount of garbage that's orbiting us, right?
Oh my God, there's nothing up there. It's water.
And
That's my thought.
and do
I
you
believe
think
in the firmament that protects us. Water's above, water's below. And when I look at the stars with my telescopes, and I put those videos up, they look just like that water that resonates when they do that experiment. And then anybody can do this if you are lucky enough to ever get the sun out. Because I found this out a couple of years ago. It's freaking me out. I should post it too. All you got to do is just take my dog's water bowls outside. Take a water bowl and set it so the sun hits it and have it reflect on something.
Yeah.
For me, it was the porch, and the roof of the porch it reflected. And with no air, no disturbance, no nothing, it's just completely still. You'll see the same patterns like you would as you did when you were looking at the stars.
Yeah.
It dances around and moves around on the shadow from the reflection of the water coming off the sun, which tells me it does the same thing as the stars. So,
well,
there's something up there that covers us and protects us. And I tell you something, if you get to or I don't know where you're at, but whoever gets to where you understand, at least in my belief, that we live in a protected system, it takes away so much.
Yeah.
Asteroids are gone. The fear of black holes are gone. The sun exploding. I took astronomy in college. Oh my God! Every day the teacher would tell us a different way we were going to die. It was kind of a joke. Or once a week he would tell us, the sun's going to blow up, but don't worry, because before that happens, the black hole's going to swallow. But don't worry, before that happens, an asteroid's going to crash. But it's like all that's gone. And then I listen to Crow, and nuclear weapons are gone. I mean, the world I live in is way safer and way better. I love it.
It's
now
so much better.
Have to fear is the fear that they're creating. That's the only thing you have to fear.
I know.
And who told us that? The only thing to fear is fear itself. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
None of these things are going to kill you. Not a single person that's listening right now or in the chat has ever known, at least nobody I've asked yet, anyone that has died of or gotten sick from Ebola, Zika, bird flu, swine flu, corona. I don't even remember the whole list. It's been going on forever.
Yeah.
And yet all these people die, and yet none of us ever know them. It's the whole thing that Brian talks about with the 9/11. How come on 9/11 our Facebook feeds are just flooded with people saying, "I miss Grandpa, I miss
Every year,
because it's,
every year on September 11th, there should be massive amounts of social media around these families that are sharing stories, remembering stories, all of that, dude. Nothing pops up, dude. Nothing
nothing.
nothing
Because
pops
none
up.
of us know anyone who's ever died from any of this. I'm not saying people don't die, and maybe some people are dying from flus and stuff. But again, they probably already had a defective immune system, or they were some other issue that was causing that they're more susceptible. I mean, that diseases get people. That happens, but nobody knows anyone that's died from any of these famous diseases.
Yeah.
Shit, there was a period I went and I ordered. What the heck was it? Because Fukushima melted down supposedly, and all of that radiation was coming our way, and they made us go out and buy some kind of pills. I don't even remember what it was. That's supposed to help counteract that. And I still have them somewhere because I was buying into the same fear. And they're telling us the molten core, it's still melting into the ground. We can't even stop it. We don't
Yeah.
talk about Fukushima at all anymore. It's like, okay, what's next? You
Yeah,
know what
I
I mean?
know.
And they had the documentary where Chernobyl is just this horrible. No, there's plants and animals and there's all kinds of life in there. What are you talking about? All the lies they told us are blowing up in their faces.
How about
nuclear
the
weapons?
how about all the reporting about the people moving back into Nagasaki and
Yeah, right.
the
Yeah.
like the
How's
day
that
after
possible?
the explosion, they were all just like walking right back in, and it's been people moved right back in after the explosions. And honestly, uh, uh, if you look at the atomic bomb footage, you
Oh
know,
my God, it's
it
a
it
joke.
it is a joke. It really is. And that whole, uh, the buildings still standing, and I'm sure they did massive destruction, but like the fact is they used conventional weapons to destroy that city, and then they got them to believe that we had some kind of like secret weapon that did it all or something. I don't know, but you
Isn't
know,
it fascinating though, the whatever the awakening or the veil or wherever you want to call it? It's like I looked at all the same stuff years ago and didn't see a problem with any of it. And now when I look at it, I look at the video of the nuclear explosion and I'm like, are you kidding? This is a total model. You can see it. And when I look at the lunar lander, I go, this is such a joke. It's paper mache and curtain rods and stuff like a 10-year-old would make for a science project. But back then it seemed normal. And to our parents, Richard Nixon picking up a phone and calling an astronaut was perfectly normal.
yeah,
But when we look at it, we're like, this doesn't make any sense. You
yeah.
know, it's even beyond like how many people were in the JFK car. It's like none of these things look real anymore. It's fascinating to me that I used to see them all as real, and now everything just looks like a movie. You
Isn't it
know?
interesting that the Truth Seeker loves asking people about the JFK car, and she also loves saying the word jackwagon, and the car was actually a jackwagon.
Oh no way! Okay, I didn't know. That's funny.
It's JFK, which is wasn't his nickname
Yeah, yeah,
Jack
that's
Kennedy?
funny.
So
I
she
didn't think
talks
of that.
about this jackwagon, and that's got to be the JFK car. But what do you think is actually up in the sky? Like, there are balloons, there are things that have. There's got to be some kind of network that the governments have built
Yeah.
that is above us,
Well,
floating. It is, or at the ice wall or something. I've always believed the fact that you're supposed to point those antennas like direct TV, you're supposed to point them southwest, right? The guy always comes
mhm.
in and he goes, we won't get the signal unless we point the dish to the southwest. So if you actually
Well, that's
had
interesting.
if you had transmitters around the south, around the wall, at every minute interval, whatever degree of the 360 degrees, right? And you build a network of transmitters at Antarctica that's every degree around the 360 degrees. So anywhere you are, if you point south, you will be pointing at one of the government transmitters. You know what I'm saying?
Is isn't that interesting? Because the research I'm looking into, supposedly God's throne is where the North Pole is. So he's sitting over towards the north, and so now you're supposed to connect to the Luciferian system in the south. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. That's. I
But
mean,
I think
I'm
definitely
honestly
there's
thinking.
satellites on balloons. I know that we could prove that, and NASA flies shit around in giant airplanes and shit. I see so many airplanes. God knows what they're doing there. But as far as the grid, there could also be a grid existing before we even planted our roots anywhere. Because there's some photos I've seen. I don't remember which channel John Levi does maps and things, but there's grids mapped out in areas where there's nothing. It's just desolate, but you can see it mapped out like a neighborhood supposed to be there or was there.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some kind of grid system underneath us. I mean, we know how much they love making tunnels and shit like that. So who knows what's down there
And if you
underneath
get
us right
if you
now.
get up high enough, dude, I honestly think that you could get a direct line shot from any house, to get the direct TV. Now it would have to be a fairly solid signal uh, to go if you're bringing digital TV into different homes. But what I'm thinking is if there's a balloon that's on a tether and it goes up and it's at a certain location at Antarctica, and then you go around to the next degree and you put another balloon up with a transmitter. These are all tethered things from that direction, and they all transmit the same thing. So you could be pointing at any one of them and you're going to get the same signal. But all you have to do as an installer of DirecTV is get that dish pointed to the south, and you'll be pointing at that network they built. That's honestly, I think that there's so much hidden there that has probably been worked on since the 50s, right? That there's probably
Well, for instance, I have a friend from Pakistan. He had a friend of his that bought a Tesla, and he was riding in the Tesla, and the Tesla was working off of some GPS signal that was not the same one as the comes off of wherever we get our regular navigation. Tesla has their own.
Yeah.
So where's that coming from?
Yeah, where's that coming from? The and the actual
My daughter-in-law was standing, I think, at Walmart, and she was looking at some product, and so she pulled out her phone to look up some ingredient on it, and an ad for that exact product showed up on her phone. So they can track you to the exact location you're standing at, especially if you've got one of their trackers, your phone, your watch, or whatever.
Once you enter a Walmart, they probably know exactly what your eyeballs are seeing.
Oh yeah. Well, your cars track you, your phones track you, but if you say this out in the public, like, oh, you're paranoid. Well, no, I'm just being realistic. I don't care anymore. Track me, whatever. It's like, want to watch me go to the grocery store? Here I go. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I won't have an Alexa or that shit in my house. I mean, I don't care if I have boring conversations or not. I don't need anybody listening in to me. I mean, you guys are listening to me as enough as it is, probably. I think I've been hogging the phone if people want to call in. Sorry.
You're an interesting dude. Do you remember growing up all these around the globe balloon guys that were always billionaires of some sort that were like, oh, I'm gonna give this a go, and they'd get lost or they'd set some like small record or something, but they were always trying to take a balloon up, and they'd show us pictures of them floating around the globe. Do you remember these guys? Steve Fosse or something was one of them. But
jeez, I kind of missed that. But I do know that they always use that propaganda that don't bother with the balloon because, like, what is it? Was it H.R. Puffin stuff? The kid got lost in a balloon.
Yeah.
So there's programming right as a little kid.
Well, that's the thing.
In the balloon.
That's the thing. I'm wondering. Do you think a lot of these guys died trying to do this, and all you're trying to do is go up in a balloon and let it take you with the trade winds, right? Like you're supposed to just going up, and then and honestly, I think what they were doing is probably trying to discourage people from taking long distance balloon trips. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. And wasn't there a video not too long ago where like some horrific accident where the people like the balloon burnt up or
Yeah.
something? So now you're like, oh my God, if I'm
Martin
in a
in
balloon, I'm trapped
Martin
and I'll
in the
die.
in the
So
chat was talking about Richard Branson doing it, and it always does seem to be like one of these billionaires that's on the inside, like, oh, he was the only one that had the money to craft this amazing vehicle to do this. But honestly, if you look at the trade winds on a flat map, they're circles, and they kind of follow the sun, right? So
totally.
it's
Yeah,
it's
it
like
makes sense on a flat, but not on a round.
the
It's all
sun's going around
convoluted.
in a circle around the flat realm, and it's creating a wind current that is swirling in a circle. And so all you have to do is get up there, and you're going for a ride probably around the whole thing, you know? And
Yeah,
it's probably pretty fast, dude, because once you get up there, you're probably going 100 miles an hour, and depending where you are, you're gonna ride that thing for like 15,000 miles or 19,000 miles, right? At 100 miles an hour. I'm not sure how much that turns out to be, but the thing is, it wouldn't be that hard to just stay at an altitude and let the wind carry you, and to be back at some point right where you started, you know?
yeah.
It's
No, I'm totally on board with that.
No, I'm just wondering if they actually have satellites up there doing this. Like if you if and maybe it's not precise enough to do this, but we've seen these things coming down. They're balloons that have big boxes of equipment. The Satelloons. We've seen them come
Yeah.
down, and we've seen them being launched, and they going up there. But I wonder what the network is that they have going up there, what it looks like, and how many devices spinning around the flat Earth do you think the governments have up there? Uh, and
Yeah, I don't know. And now that I realize that the leaders all work together, I mean, they can sit down at a meeting at what Bridal Blick or Bohemian Grove, say, okay, how many satellites we got this year? We got 150. We got this one area we need to grid out. Let's get a few more up. You know what I mean? If
yeah,
they all work together,
you
once
know,
you realize that it's all connected, and there's no
remember
wars
the
between.
thing that came out in the emails? It was the WikiLeaks emails. One of the things that got glazed over pretty well was the fact that Colin Powell, the guy that everyone loved, American patriot dude from the Secretary of State guy that everyone trusted, was a Bohemian Grove member. you know and that was like one of the things that came out in these emails, was like, hey, his conversation with someone, and it was all that they were going to meet up at Bohemian Grove. And so it's amazing the cats that end up going out there, and what kind of walks of life. But you're right. I mean, all of these big decisions that they're making are happening in the woods at places like that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're going to tell me I'm crazy because I believe that there's like a Luciferian system and blah, blah, blah. Okay, what about the fact that all of the leaders of the world, whatever, they go to this weird place in the woods and they do this weird shit? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You can't call me crazy and then say, well, that's normal.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Those guys are just exercising their First Amendment, right? It's just like
yeah,
Floyd Bingo. Floyd Bingo does his performance art where he sings Mad World while wearing some makeup, and all of a sudden, to his in-laws or whatever, he ends up, they think he's a crazy person, and that's grounds to like have him put in a psych ward. And that's
when my wife and I heard that, we were near tears. I feel for that guy. I'm glad he's He's out. But it's funny because when I first saw his pick or his meat, what do you call it? Why am I having that? Oh, that's another thing, by the way. I keep talking about this, and no one else seems to notice this, or maybe we are, but people in the truth community are in the middle of a sentence will completely forget what they were talking about. I've watched Rich from Boston do it a dozen times. I've watched numerous people on numerous shows do it. We do it too, and it's not about like an age thing or whatever. I mean, Brian's done it. I've watched everyone do it. So I don't know what that means, but I'm just looking for patterns because the only way we figure this out is we all just kind of figure out patterns. I mean, we have no other way. It's like a bunch of toddlers are thrown into a car and we're trying to figure out how to start it and drive it. We're trying to figure this out. But I've noticed that. But in any case, when I first saw him on his little meme picture, and it's that clown with the scary mouth open, he looked like Insane Clown Posse to me. And he came on, and I was like, and I had forgotten like my first wrench in someone's room, and I was ready to just start like deleting him because I was like, oh, here comes a troll. And he turns out to be like one of the nicest guys and stuff, and say some of the coolest things in chat and whatever. And it's all about perspective, and we're taught to fear people by the way they act and look and stuff. But get to know the person first. What did it used to be? Judge lest you be judged. I know it's not that anymore, but give them a break. Now, if they show in the measure of the way they speak or talk, or and they turn into a penguin, we'll kick them to the curb. And what does Jesus say? Kick the dust off your heels and keep on walking. Yeah. But Floyd's with us. He's here. He's going through the same troubles and tribulations in his own way that we all are, and we all just need to be strong. And there's a power in prayer. And when YouTube's gone, or I can't call you on the phone, we can still pray and think about each other, and that's the main thing. We need to stay connected. Now, whether or not we'll be able to travel around, if they do travel bans and stuff, I don't know. We can't predict the future. But if it happens, I'm sorry.
They've been, if you think about it, since 9/11, they basically restricted our travel. At least they've made it to the point where people want to travel much less than they used to. Because before 9/11, I had no problem jumping on a flight, with my driver's license, whatever I wanted to throw in my bag, and it would end up wherever I was going. And it was a great time exploring this country pre 9/11 with cheap flights and being able to get places. And every time I fly now, I thank the folks that brought us 9/11, because it now sucks so bad, and I have to deal with the idea that my daughter and my wife might be going through scanners that show them completely naked to the people behind the screen. And it's disgusting what it's turned into. I've had a guy up in my crotch with like his hand, and he goes, I'm just gonna reach down the front of your pants with my hand. I hope that do you have a problem with that? And it's unbelievable the uncomfortableness of flying these days. And so maybe they haven't banned travel, but I think part of the whole 9/11 rollout was to limit people's desire to move to places, because it had gotten too big for them. Like, people were doing too much traveling, and I think the powers to be had to kind of like lock down and get us to be less mobile than we were, a lot less.
I 100% I agree, because think about it. Everything seems to be about trying to contain us in a certain area.
Yeah.
If you believe the Earth is round, well, we've searched the whole Earth. There's nothing else to look for. Yeah. But if the Earth is flat and there's more continents that we don't even know about, well, then we'll keep looking. So by telling us it's round, it cuts that off. And then, like you say, with the 9/11, back in the day, I remember you could be late for your flight, and you could run through the airport to your gate. In fact, there's even a commercial, I think, with OJ running through the airport.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that now? You ran through an airport, like 16 people would, like, take you down, whatever.
Dude, I I had a girlfriend. We were sleeping, and we woke up late. Like she hit the alarm, just like out of reaction, when it went off. But we actually had to get up and get on the road to make it to the airport so that we could take our flight to where the Bahamas or something. And we got up 45 minutes late. I mean, 45 minutes before the flight, and it's 45 minutes to get to the airport. So I was like, just don't even say anything. Just jump in the car now, and we're going to go. And so we're bolting down the New York City traffic, and some kind of a instrument fell off of a tow truck in front of me and completely smashed the front of my car as I'm driving.
Oh,
but we didn't
wow.
even have any time to stop or do anything. And we just like ran right in. We get like pulled right into short-term parking, grabbed our bags, and did exactly what you said. We jumped right onto the plane. They shut the door, and we were in the air. You know,
Right?
that was
My
that
wife
was
even mentioned, how about the fact you used to be able to wait when somebody came off a plane and give them a big hug and embrace? They got rid of that. No
yeah.
more emotion at the airport, right? And every time we go through, they're always molesting her. She never passes. They always pull her aside to like feel her up. It's really disgusting.
I
I
had
mean,
this
what am I? Yeah,
conversation with
she
my
reminds me. She has large. She's well endowed. Okay, and so that's I think they target people,
yeah.
and it doesn't matter that a woman touches you. Big deal, you know. But it just seems like every time. I mean, what? She's a terrorist every time. And another thing, 9/11 happened in 2001, where
Yeah.
they crashed how many planes supposedly, and then we have all this lockdown since. How
Yeah.
many have happened since then? Zero. And my wife took we accidentally, we had gone camping and she left it was a folding knife. The blade had to be probably 5 inches long.
Right.
And she left it in her purse because it was a big kind of like knapsack kind of purse.
Yeah.
We went through, we got on the plane. We're sitting and we're ready to take off. And she gets something out of her purse and goes, "Holy crap, Richard, look." And she pulls out this giant knife. And I was like, "Shit, put that away." And it went through the security
Went
screening
through,
and
yeah.
everything. It's like, oh, okay, that went through, but we can't wear our shoes, and you can only have 2 ounces of water. It's all bullshit. It's all just more
Oh, I
ways
know.
to just mess with our head.
Dude,
You know, oh, I'm going to
something
go
like
away and have a fun trip. But
nine
first, I got to completely undress at the airport, get molested, have someone rifle through my suitcase, wait in line for an extra hour. Now you have to leave like 2 hours early on some flights or before more. So it's like another way to just screw with us to make our lives miserable.
and you're absolutely
Really.
right. Like 98% of or 99% of the random spot checks that they do to see if the security systems are working are exactly like what your wife demonstrated. You could walk right through with these things. So you wonder what the whole point is. Maybe the whole point is to just
Fear.
humiliate us. Just keep
Fear.
humiliating us so that we don't want to travel anymore. Like I
Yep.
always I had this conversation with my brothers, and I said they've got these devices, that you walk through, you put your hands in the air, the camera comes swinging around you, and it presents a full naked picture of your body to the people that are upstairs that can see the image. And they were like, "No way." There's just a light there that goes off that says like good or no good, and that's it. When it scans you, and you know, they thought that I was lying about that, but you look it up and it's true. They are looking at the pictures and then they hit a button to send a no good signal to light up and let the person that's at the gate do a body search. But there are people, and they say that they don't see the name, so they can't put a face or a body with an actual name up there. But there are guys who come to work every day and they just watch one naked child after another walk through scanners and determine if
Wow.
they. It's creepy, dude. It's really creepy. So I always tell them to opt out of the scanner, the 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 cameras there, and they let us do it.
Yeah, but then they always just touch you anyway. So what have you accomplished?
Yeah, that's the thing.
One
That's
way
what.
they look at you naked, and the other way they get to molest you more. So
Yeah, you know,
it's a no-win scenario. And if you don't like it, well, screw you. You can't fly. I mean, they just completely shut that down.
or they increase the pat down. You know, like if you act like you're asking questions about the process, guess what? They're going to give you the double thorough pat
Oh
down.
yeah.
You know what?
And never
They're
go to
they're
the
gonna
private
be unzipping your pants. You're gonna be
Yeah.
standing in front of the whole terminal with your pants around your ankles while some guy is 3 inches from your yam bag. You know,
Well, you know what? If they're gonna do it, if I need to get that plane, I'll frickin' do it right there. Because don't go to the private room. In fact, some wise person, flew over the videos to my wife when we first watched. They said never go to the secondary location.
yeah,
If the government comes and says, "Come with us, we need to go to this other location,"
don't go.
don't ever go.
Yeah.
Never go to the secondary location.
Yeah, I got coming back from Iceland. I got taken to a second location, and my wife didn't even think that I would make it back. Like, yeah, honestly, they had me in there for a long time. They went through, they took the batteries out of stuff. You know, they were going through everything.
I don't know what the coronavirus is at this point. If it's the actual kickoff of whatever it is, or if it's the test run before it. You know, because who was it? They were talking about this book that Dean Koontz wrote.
Yeah.
In the predictive programming, where it was a Wuhan 400 virus, but in it comes and it like pandemics immediately, and then it disappears as quickly as it came.
Yeah.
So there is a scenario you could say, okay, we're going to get this. It's going to come across. Everyone's going to freak out. We'll go through however long amount of time it is. Then they'll knock it down, vaccine, whatever, and it goes away. So that way, next flu season come around, we better get this vaccine or we're going to have another pandemic and everyone got to get their mandatory vaccinations or you're quarantined into this little area. I don't know. But
it could be a kickoff.
This might not be it. It could just be the test run.
It could be a kickoff. It could be more of what I was talking about, where it's like they don't want us moving to places. They don't want us moving around. They want us to lock down kind of in our location and proceed from
Oh, and
from
they
that
also
point.
want us more on the government dole because now they had an Amazon guy that got sick. Did you hear this one?
Yeah.
So an Amazon gets sick, but they didn't say, is it what do you call it? Is it someone in upper management? Is it someone that packs your boxes? Is it your delivery person?
Right.
See, so now they're going to get it's like, ooh, I don't want to open up something from Amazon. It could have coronavirus on it. You know what I mean? So now
Right.
they're going to work at that. So
Yeah.
you can't travel, and now you're not going to want to order
It could be the reason
things.
that they shut off homes or something like that, but it could also be timed with something to be a complete distraction. You know, like it's
Absolutely. I think
maybe
they
it's
all are
just
distractions, 100%.
yeah, they're all distractions, but and they all have a schedule, right? Like I'm sure they have a rollout schedule for all these different things on the agenda, but you wonder if it is taking into account things that are happening, within smaller periods of time, like whether elections have anything to do with when you want to distract, or whether any of our leaders, like there's been issues between Trump and China, and you wonder if this is a way that our current administration can like send a real nasty thing, start a basic pandemic rumor and bring a country to its knees, kind of as political payback to China, because everything I hear with how much we owe China and how much we've borrowed from China and how much they're buying from us and how much they really own us and all of this kind of stuff is not healthy relations between two countries. And then all of a sudden one of the countries breaks out with this pandemic that they're trying to figure out, and you wonder whether there might be some political games that are being played at another level. But then you also think at some level these guys all work together. Go all these governments
Yeah,
even.
so that's the thing. They work together. So at the end of the day, who gets hurt?
Yeah,
Us.
yeah,
Every freaking time.
all
They
the
go to war with
populations.
Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan. Guess what? And don't take this the wrong way, people. I love everyone. That's the way I'm taught. But I could care less what goes on in Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran. Why? Most likely I'll never go there. If I did, I'd just visit and then leave. I don't believe there's someone right now sitting at home, just had breakfast with his family, going, okay, now we must get to America and kill as many people as possible with a pipe bomb. Bullshit. He wants to live his life. He wants his kids to grow up in a fun place. He wants to have things to be comfortable, just like the rest of us.
Yeah,
Just like I'm not sitting at home going, oh, there's people in Iraq I just really want to kill. No, they put it on TV. They give you some faceless, nameless villain. It changes all the time, and that's who we're scared of. So we got to send all of our kids. 4 of my kids are in the military. Any day they could go off to some fake war
right.
and really get hurt.
Yeah,
That's a real thing. Like I was talking to Awake Insane about it. He knows that the wars are fake. The reasons are fake. But there are real people that are getting hurt and dying because it's our family, it's our friends that are being used as pawns on this chessboard, on this Masonic freaking chessboard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think now all the governments are working together. Shit, there's sometimes I think, not to say that there aren't North Korean people and people live somewhere where they think is North Korea, but North Korea, as they present on TV with the funny-haired dude, I don't even think that's real.
Yeah.
That could all be at some Hollywood studio show where they have that.
Well, what's
and every once in a while they
definitely
bring him up as a boogeyman, and Trump smacks him down and says, okay, play nice, don't do nuclear weapons. Okay. And then also goes, I'm going to shoot a nuclear weapon. Everyone goes, oh, no. It's all just more of the game.
Dude,
I don't think he's real. He's an actor.
Those big missiles that he parades down the street, like those big monster rocket bombs that he those are definitely props, dude. There's no way that those things are actual weapons,
All you got to do is look at one of my first videos about that I found, that NASA footage of that one. It was part of this satellite program. And you watch the rocket on the original NASA footage. I think it's on my video called Heaven or Hell. And the thing turns into a balloon right in front of your eyes. Like there's a jump cut, and it goes from like a white rocket-looking thing to sort of a gray balloonish-looking thing. And then it falls apart. It looks just like a balloon. No explosion. It's so, of course, those rockets, it's like watching a Macy's Day Parade,
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to walk up and bang on them. You'll never get anywhere close to them.
Did you see that one balloon at the Macy's parade that got out of control with the wind and started like smashing people on the ground?
No, is that recent? I was
the...
looking for that when I was making that video. I was trying to find a balloon exploding, so I looked for that. Couldn't find any.
Yeah.
What happened?
It just started wailing people like it was like a big underdog, and it just kept like flattening people. It was going crazy. But it's amazing. I would love to just see believable science start to come out. Like, what really are the pressures, temperatures, and composition of the atmosphere as you get higher? Does it get colder? Does it get hotter? Does it, we've got all the details about the thermosphere and the ionosphere. And honestly, I could see there being amazing substances that are up high in super cold temperatures and getting types of glows like neon lights, where you've got ions that are floating around, and all the in gases that are like neon, and all kinds of trippy effects happening. But I don't believe any of the books, like all the things that lay it out for us. It's almost like I would love to have a reset from another agency that has like their own scientific method that is not government affiliated, that can go on up and give us like some real measurements of what's up there, or we just don't pay attention at all to what's being given to us. But it would be kind of cool to find out what's also in the oceans. Like I think there are just as many mysteries down in the ocean as there are above us, like
Well, it's interesting because, like, I remember when you learn about science and all these things, it's fascinating. But now it's all fake. So wouldn't it be wonderful if somebody could sit down, like you say, and teach us the real workings of this and how the magnetic thing works, and the moon has nothing to do with tides, how those work, and it's all a living, breathing system right here. But I don't know if we'll ever have that day. We might not know until it's all over, and then we look back on it and go, "Oh, so that's how that does that." And
yeah.
it could be that, but it sure would be nice. You're right, if we could figure it out now. But that's what we're all doing, all of us, every single person that either calls, does a show, writes in the chat, or just listens. The fact that you're even here, that's helping it. It puts it all together, and you add all. We're all little notes, and you put us all together, and we form a song. That was given to me by my wife, by the way.
Oh, that's nice, dude. I like
But
that. I like that metaphor. That's really nice.
she also is amazing at memes, by the way. I'm just letting everyone know. She does all my memes, or at least some of them. And she did that one about, we were in New York, and it's on the video I put up last night. At one point, the Statue of Liberty, I took a picture. There was a chemtrail triangle above it. And she put together this meme, like, from someone else's triangle in the sky. And it said, if you want to know who's in control, they tell us all the time. It's the same triangles on the back of your dollar bill. You
Yeah.
have it in your pocket every day, and nobody even talks about it or looks at it.
I know.
It's the weirdest thing.
It's on.
There's pyramids all over the world, and no one cares.
Yeah, it's on
There's
the
pyramids under the water, and no one cares.
It's on the money of all the currency around the world. That eyeball, the pyramid eye, and everything like that. No one asks a question about that. You had mentioned Awakened Saint. Is he back on? He had popped off, right? He took his challenge.
As far as I know, the most I'd heard, because Brian dropped something, I guess he's talked to him, but he's got a new channel coming out called Airborne Saint, I think. And I'm sure if Brian's there, somebody can drop it. But as far as I know, he's not back yet, but he is planning on coming back. I don't know why he dropped out. Brian said it was something to do with like a death family. He needed time away.
I see.
And and I totally get it. There's times I'm not even around because, quite frankly, right now I've been building a chicken coop and trying to get my life stable, so that way, in case they shut off, however I need to get food and water and whatever, I'll have it somehow. But I get it. People need to take time. Brian took time off. My God, the guy's been doing it over a decade. And back when you guys whoever started early, before I even knew you guys existed, because I've only been on board for a few years, maybe 3 years now, you guys were just screaming in the wind. There was nobody listening. And it's encouraging, but it's also a little disheartening because, okay, so we have hundreds listening, we have thousands listening. What do you think the total population right now of the world that's awake now? You think like 1%? Even if that's 10%, that's just, it's sad. It's such a low number, and that's one of the things that does trouble my heart. And so the more of us that wake up, the more we can start to talk to other people and wake them up. And one of the things I found is trying to wake up your family and friends is like one of the hardest things. Waking up a stranger, that's way easier. Because when you think about it, who do your family and friends listen to when you start talking crazy? You're like, look at this.
Yeah.
This scientist I've never met who's in a white coat, he's got a real fancy name, and he says you're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know who that guy is? He could be some, overweight 40-year-old that's eating Cheetos and playing World of Warcraft and making a profile.
Yeah.
You honestly have no idea who these people are that that you're quoting off of the internet, and they'll listen to them.
Yeah.
So that's why this YouTube stuff and however Facebook and wherever we can reach the people we don't know that don't have an emotional attachment into it, and they might listen more. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's just the way
Well,
I'm trying,
how about
because
this ceiling
it's really
fan?
difficult.
If you think about the stat that you put, that there may be a fraction of a percent of people that believe in an alternative cosmology that goes against the modern solar system. Let's say it's a fraction of 1%. It it gives me a warm feeling inside to know that, like, we are here for a very specific reason. Like, it's something that is, it kind of reassures me that I'm living during an exciting time, because that small percentage is a huge uphill climb that we have to get people aware that they're being lied to by their governments. And the thing is, the it gives me a real sense of purpose to know that I'm here at this particular moment in time, not in the 60s as a hippie, not in the 50s as a greaser, not in the 40s as a flapper or whatever. But this time right now, we're here doing stuff with technology that no one's been doing, and it feels like there's a lot of purpose to that. And the other thing to think about is, think about how quickly you could see through the deception of the trickery that's going on. It doesn't take long to really dig into flat Earth to realize that you can't prove anything about a ball, and you have to really go back to just what is believable, what you can prove. And so the actual path to waking someone up can be very, very quick. The process of waking up could be very, very quick if people look into it. That's really the only thing, is like what people are willing to look into it now. And the people talking in this chat and on these streams are the kinds of people that had the desire to scratch the surface and look into it. But when we did, it didn't take long for us to totally realize that there's a man pulling the levers behind all the curtains, right? It's just like the Wizard of Oz. Once that curtain is open, it's like, oh my gosh, it's all a matrix that we're in, right? And so
Yeah,
I do believe that even though there's 99.9% of the population that still doesn't see the trick, all it takes is one glimpse of the trick, and you could get massive amounts of people, I think, because it's really just exposure. People might laugh at it, they might see it, but as long as there's one thing that gives them the impetus to do some scratching into it, it's not going to take long for that person, especially a young person who's got a discerning head on their shoulder and didn't buy into all the foolery that we bought into. They're going to look at it and they're going to go like, oh my gosh, it's flat. It's totally there.
that, and I'm really happy you said all that, because it does give me peace. Because you're right. Just like if you walk into a room and you flip a switch, the light comes on, and it can happen that fast. And you're absolutely right. It doesn't have to be a slow thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is that when I woke up to whatever was going on, like, we go through this process, one of those 7 steps, and anger and denial and all that, whatever. And I remember sitting there thinking, I didn't ask for this. I just wanted to live my life in whatever, and not have to deal with whatever's coming, revelation or whatever you want to say. I didn't want that. But then I started thinking about it. What about all the people that came before us? If all those stories are true, there's enslavements where they were actually whipped and starved, and all these horrible things happened to our ancestors. So, we haven't had it so bad. Okay, so what am I whining about? We're in like a most amazing time, because whether or not, you believe in the scriptures or whether or not you believe in the creator, it doesn't matter because it's happening around you regardless. I mean, the Mandela effect proves that and stuff. So we all live in the same place, whether you believe it or not. Now, the fact that I'm awake and I know that the end game is whatever this is changes, whether it's a completely new earth or this earth cleaned out, it changes. So at the end of the day, none of the things that I have matter except my relationship with God and how I treat others around me. And so I figured, okay, I'm awake for a reason. So if none of this matters, the only thing that matters is to try to bring home as many of God's children as possible. Because that's what I always say to him. Hey, I need you to bring home all of my family, especially all my kids. And at the same time, I know I'm here to help bring home all of your kids because all of us are his kids.
Yeah.
So he wants the same thing I do. The one thing that you want more than life itself is that your kids are good, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what he wants. So why am I awake? Why am I on the phone with you for a ridiculous amount of time? I'm sorry, everyone, I ramble. But why am I doing this and why am I making these videos? It's because I'm trying to get more people on board so we can all end up wherever it is we're supposed to be in the right place.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. So you're right. It's an exciting time. They want us to be afraid. Don't do it. And it's not easy. I buy into it too sometimes. I freaked out a little bit. Everyone's like, oh, my God, toilet paper. I have plenty, but still, it's like they still have a way of getting to you, even if, like, you don't realize it. You know, we used to sit here and have no planes fly over us. And all of a sudden we started having planes. And every time they'd fly over, we'd all go out and we'd check it out and see what plane. Well, guess what? We're getting all kinds of planes.
Yeah.
And then I realized we're creating our own fear. So then when they would fly by, I'd laugh at them or I'd wave to them or say, hey, come on back. We're building a chicken coop. You say, guess what? Hardly any anymore. So whatever this system is, it reacts to you. Just ask Mr. Centralville. You know, they fuck with him all the time.
Yeah.
Only thing we were kind of, thinking about was these planes flying by. Well, guess what? I started doing that. When I started doing that, we got no plane. I mean, occasionally, like we used to. But for a while there, we were seeing, 2, 3, 4. It looked like we were over an airport and all different kinds and stuff. So I don't know how this system works, but I do know that it feeds off of our fear and it knows the things that make us afraid. I think there's been multiple movies about that. So just know it. And whatever it is that's getting you afraid, give it to God. That's what he's there for.
Yeah.
You're supposed to just say, I give my burdens to you. Man, it was not an easy transition for me to do that. But the day that I was finally able to do it, and I'm not perfect at it, my God, I still have trouble with it, but I'm way better than I used to. And whenever I have anything that's troubling me, I'll pray on, I'll give it to him and say, I know that you'll take care of this. Now, it might not be in my timeline, but I know he'll take care of it because it's written. If you follow his laws and you ask him something from true heart and you ask it in his will, if it follows his will and his laws, he has to do it. He will do it. He said he will. So that's where you got to go. Whenever you get these moments of fear, just know that he's got it. Now, that doesn't mean that you're just going to walk out on a freeway and know that, you'll be fine because God's got you. No, don't tempt him either. He can't always watch over stupid things, But, he's got you. And so live your life and prepare. There's nothing wrong with prepping. Even if there wasn't a coronavirus, there's nothing wrong with having some supplies on hand. What if there was a major earthquake or tornado or whatever? It's always good to have that on hand. The problem is no one thinks about it until the news says, there's a run on this, there's a storm coming, and everyone goes nuts, and then the stores get jammed. If they would just do it, every time you go to the store, you get an extra thing of something, and you store it away, and you just don't mess with it, you'll have it. And then when the next big scare comes, you won't worry. And just get rid of the fear, because that's what they feed off of. And the more fear they get, the stronger they are, just like Star Wars.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. And the fact that we don't want to run out into traffic and do harm to ourselves, I think is a testament that God does have us. He's got us in a good spot because honestly, the world is tearing us apart to the point where there's so many people that do want to just walk out in front of a train, And it's
Yeah,
like
I'm
just
hearing despair, and it's sad. Don't give into it. Don't.
yeah,
If you find God, if you get on your knees and you say, "Do you exist? Because I can't take it anymore." That's all he's waiting for. He's right there. He's
yeah.
right there, just waiting. He's like sitting there, drumming his fingers.
Well,
Shit, when's Richard
that's
gonna wake up?
when
Oh,
you
there he is.
realize
Hi.
when you realize the you know the the intention with which this creation was created, and you realize that there's a creator behind it, and you start to say, oh my gosh, all of a sudden the things that you're doing in your life, it's even if it is a Truman Show type thing, it's I now want to make these. I just want to make it so that what I'm doing here matters and it's meaningful and it is something that would make my creator happy that I'm doing these things. And before flat earth and all that kind of stuff, I didn't really care about that relationship, Now I'm like, oh my gosh, he's right up there. He's close, and I just want to do cool things that would make my creator go right on, that guy, it just to
Well,
you
one
know
of the things I say to him every day is like, I'm whatever I'm doing because I want you to be proud of me. I mean, isn't that what you want from your original father? That's the same thing you want from your original creator, father. Yeah. I just want you to be proud of me. So do things that you would do that would make someone proud of you.
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
I honestly
that's what he
just
wants.
I didn't even think that there was any rhyme or reason to this creation. Like, if your cosmology is that we're spinning and hurling through a black void of space towards a black hole somewhere that we're going to get sucked in, then there is no reason to impress anyone, in my mind. That's
right. We're
the
just
whole
specks
point.
of dust in the wind.
Yeah, we're just dust in the wind. Dude, I went to a planetarium this weekend with my kids in New York, where I grew up, and I was in this planetarium, and they end with this quote from this guy that was my graduation speaker from college, Carl Sagan. And Carl Sagan,
shit.
they end with this guy's passage from his book, which is all like, spinning on infinite plane of space, looking through nothing but a void of, it's hardly,
Yeah,
it was all basically, you're just a piece
billions
of nothingness,
of
like a complete piece of nothingness. I don't even know why you're in this planetarium, because you don't mean anything to anyone, so get the fuck out. That's basically the message at the end of the planetarium, And I was
Isn't
like,
that fascinating? You go to these places, the planetariums and stuff. It's like, honestly, it's like you're going to Disney World. It's a theme park because it's all garbage, none of it's true, right? When you look at it that way now.
Yeah.
You used to go there thinking, oh, I'm going to teach my kids science. But now it's just like, well, that was just fun ride. Now let's go on the Matterhorn. You know what I mean? It's like all these balls and shit. None of it's real.
And you know what? It's fun because my kids look at me and they go, "Hey, Dad, what'd you think about that, huh?" And they're almost like egging me on, like, you got to have something to say about that thing. And that's what leads me to believe that they're starting to gain some critical thinking. And that's all I want to do with my kids is raise them.
I'm so happy you said that, because I got one son. I mean, I've got several, but this particular one, he goose on me relentlessly. And you're right. He's still thinking about it. And I didn't think of it that aspect. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Like I'll say, yeah, we need to, keep working on this. Hopefully there'll be sun this weekend. And he'll go, if it's really the sun, It's
yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
So he's listening.
I actually find that to be really refreshing when my kids tease me that way.
I like it. Thank you. How old are your kids?
12 and 8.
Okay. And you're what are you, in your 30s or?
I'm 51.
40s? Oh, you're 50. Oh, you're my age? Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do you notice that, I don't know what shape you were in. I know Joey's changed. He was fatty. Like right when I woke up, my wife and I decided to eat paleo and stuff.
Right.
And I dropped like 60 pounds seem like overnight.
Yeah.
And I've been like one of the best shapes I've been in. I'm still not, the shape that my kids are. They're Marine and whatever, but I'm decent for my age, so I'm happy.
That again,
I
and
find that's another thing.
Another nice side effect of waking up to some of these things, and that's part of the thing when we talk about being an attractive group of people. Like, honestly, there's going to be a lot of people that look at our version of healthy living and healthy understanding and a refreshing cosmology and hope and optimism and control of our just like appearance and looking like a really awesome crowd. That's what I love about the footage that we see from the shows, like the Flat Earth Conference, and I just love seeing all the people and all the diversity, and it's just such a cool crowd that there's so many people that if they see that kind of crowd just interfacing with each other in a really wholesome, nice way, with people around them not being confrontational in certain ways, and just they're going to be like, wow, I want to learn more about what makes these people tick, And I think weight loss is a big part of that.
I hope you're right on that. I hope that's what happens, because you're absolutely right. When you get on whatever this side and you don't believe in asteroids and nuclear weapons and you believe in the love of community and family, whatever, it's a cool place to be. It's just we've been programmed so deeply to, like, those people are crazy, don't even talk to them. They're doing their best to try to keep people from listening to us.
Yeah.
Because once they do listen to us, it all makes sense. But
yeah.
We're just taught not to. We're the outcasts. We're the misfits.
Yeah.
The crazies.
And
that's why I love talking on these shows, because I can talk here and no one, well, I'm sure plenty judge me, but we're all doing this together. What I'm saying could be true, could not. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. And between me and you and all these other people, hopefully we'll figure out enough to navigate. We can't necessarily change this system. It's the devil's system. We know that.
Yeah.
But once you know how it works, you could sure navigate the waters a lot better,
Well, you sure blew.
I can't control the ocean, but I can look at the weather reports and watch the waves and steer my boat the right way.
Yeah. And you sure blew the lid on that whole satellite story with the ceiling fans.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, dude, I'm going to have to pop off here and grab my kids and stuff. But it was great chatting with you.
I'm sorry I took up the whole show.
No, I love that. I love that. I'm not restricting times. It's just a matter of flowing in the conversation, And when I talk with you, man, it just flows really well. And anytime, call in, dude.
Okay.
Oh, Rooster asked who this was. It's a ceiling fan, man. And let's see. I don't know if you want to put your link in the chat.
I can. I'll try to do that. I don't know. Do I have a wrench with you? I'm not even sure.
I'm not sure. I actually have to spend some time because I don't get my chats on YouTube. I get them on this restreaming technology, so I can't just dish out wrenches. I have to go back. I have to go back to the YouTube chat and dish out the wrenches. So I'll go back and give out some wrenches.
No worries.
But thank you so much for calling in, and thank you guys in the chat for hanging out for a little while and talking. I'll be back sometime soon, and love you guys much. Take care. See you, Ceiling Fan.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Carla. See you guys.